TSA takes everyday items from travelers every day, often from people who thought they packed correctly. One traveler lost $300 in products before she even reached the gate. If you're over 60 or you only fly a few times a year, these are the 12 most common items that get confiscated. And the last one is the easiest to prevent. Let's begin. Category 1. Common liquids and gels violations. Oversized toiletries, full-size sunscreen, and liquid medications without proper documentation. The 3-1-1 rule still applies. Liquids, gels, aerosols, and creams must be 3.4 ounces, 100 milliliters, or less, and they all have to fit in one quart-size clear bag. What gets seniors most often is packaging. Travel size from home isn't always compliant. Contact lens solution is often 4 ounces. Prescription creams may have no size label, and full-size sunscreen is not exempt. Liquid prescription meds can be over 3.4 ounces, but only if you declare them to the TSA officer. If they find them buried in your toiletry bag, you can get pulled aside for extra screening. Before you pack, check the ounce label, transfer anything oversized into TSA travel bottles, and keep liquid medications separate so you can declare them immediately. Quick favor, if this is helping, hit like so more seniors see it, and subscribe for simple travel tips that save money at TSA. All right, next up, sharp objects. Category 2. Sharp objects and tools. Item 9. Swiss Army knives, multi-tools, and pocket knives of any size. Every blade is prohibited in carry-on bags, regardless of length. This includes tiny keychain knives, Swiss Army knives, and multi-tools with blades. TSA confiscates thousands of these items weekly because travelers forget they're attached to keychains or packed in jacket pockets. One passenger lost a family heirloom pocket knife because he didn't realize it was still clipped inside his carry-on from a previous trip. The knife had sentimental value but couldn't pass through security under any circumstances. TSA offered him the option to check his bag for an additional fee or surrender the item permanently. He chose to surrender it rather than miss his flight. Before leaving for the airport, empty all pockets in your carry-on bag and carefully check for any blades or sharp objects you might have forgotten about. Remove pocket knives from keychains and pack them in checked luggage if you absolutely need to bring them. Better yet, leave them home entirely to avoid the risk of losing valuable items. Item 8. Full-size scissors, nail clippers with files, and certain grooming tools. Scissors are allowed in carry-on bags only if the blades measure less than 4 inches from the pivot point. Most regular scissors exceed this length and will be confiscated. Nail clippers are generally allowed, but models with attached nail files that extend beyond a certain length can be flagged and potentially confiscated, depending on the TSA officer's judgment. The confusion happens because these rules seem arbitrary to passengers. Why are small scissors okay, but larger ones prohibited? The answer relates to potential weapon classification, but most travelers don't understand the specific measurements and simply pack their regular grooming tools without checking sizes. Measure your scissors before packing them, or purchase specifically TSA-approved travel scissors with blades under 4 inches. For nail care, choose basic clippers without extended file attachments. Pack full-size grooming tools in checked luggage to avoid any questions or delays at security. Item 7. Razor blades, box cutters, and hobby knives. Disposable razors and electric razors are allowed in carry-on bags. Safety razors with removable blades are allowed, but only if you remove and pack the blades separately in checked luggage. Straight razors, box cutters, and X-Acto knives are completely prohibited in carry-on bags under all circumstances. Many senior travelers use safety razors and don't realize the blade must be removed before packing in carry-on luggage. TSA officers won't allow you to remove the blade at the checkpoint. The entire razor will be confiscated if the blade is still attached. This catches travelers who prefer traditional shaving methods and assume their decades-old routine is acceptable. If you use safety razors, remove all blades before packing and place blades in your checked luggage. Stick to disposable razors or electric razors for carry-on bags to eliminate any possibility of confiscation. This simple adjustment prevents losing expensive razors at security. Sharp objects cause delays, but what's coming next catches travelers off guard because these items seem so ordinary and essential that most people never question whether they're allowed. Category 3. Electronics and batteries. Item 6. lithium batteries over 100 watt-hours, and loose spare batteries. Lithium batteries power most modern electronics, but TSA and airline safety regulations restrict how they can be transported. Batteries exceeding 100 watt-hours are generally prohibited in both carry-on and checked luggage unless you receive special airline approval in advance. Most phone and laptop batteries fall well under this limit, but large camera batteries, power tool batteries, and some medical device batteries can exceed it. Here's where it gets tricky for senior travelers. Spare lithium batteries must be in carry-on bags, never in checked luggage. They must also be protected from short-circuiting, which means keeping them in original packaging or covering terminals with tape. Loose batteries rolling around in your bag can be confiscated and may trigger additional security screening of your entire bag. Check the watt-hour rating on all batteries before packing. This information is usually printed on the battery itself or in the device manual. Keep spare batteries in their original plastic cases or place each battery in a separate plastic bag. Never pack loose batteries in checked luggage, and always carry spares in your carry-on where they're easier to access and inspect. Item 5. Certain power banks and portable chargers. Power banks follow the same rules as spare lithium batteries. They must be in carry-on bags, never checked luggage. Power banks exceeding 100 watt-hours or 27,000 milliamp-hours require airline approval and are often prohibited entirely. Most consumer power banks fall under this limit, but high-capacity models marketed for charging laptops multiple times can exceed it. One passenger had her 40,000 milliamp-hour power bank confiscated at security because it exceeded TSA limits. She'd purchased it specifically for a long international flight and didn't realize the capacity restrictions. The power bank cost $80 and couldn't be recovered after confiscation. Before traveling, check your power bank's capacity. The watt-hour or milliamp-hour rating should be printed on the device. If you're unsure, stick to power banks clearly labeled as TSA compliant or airline approved. Pack power banks in easily accessible parts of your carry-on so you can remove them quickly during screening if requested. Proper battery management prevents confiscation and ensures your devices stay powered throughout your journey. You won't scramble to buy overpriced chargers at airport shops or arrive at your destination with dead electronics. The items we've covered so far are commonly misunderstood, but the next category is different. These are the items that seem completely innocent, that passengers pack without a second thought, yet they trigger some of the most frustrating confiscations at TSA checkpoints. Category 4. Surprising everyday items. Item 4. Certain food items including spreads, dips, sauces, and pressure-packed cans. Solid foods are generally allowed through security, but anything TSA considers a liquid, gel, or aerosol falls under the 311 rule. This includes peanut butter, jam, salsa, hummus, yogurt, soup, and gravy. Many senior travelers pack snacks for flights without realizing that spreadable or pourable foods are classified as liquids, regardless of consistency. Pressure-packed cans like whipped cream, cooking spray, or certain cheese products are prohibited entirely because they're considered aerosols. Even small travel-size cans can be confiscated. Passengers bringing specialty foods or dietary items for long flights often discover this restriction only when TSA removes items from their bags. Before packing any food, ask yourself, can I spread it, pour it, or spray it? If yes, it's likely classified as a liquid and must follow the 311 rule or be packed in checked luggage. Stick to solid snacks like granola bars, nuts, crackers, and whole fruits for carry-on bags. If you have dietary restrictions requiring specific foods, pack them in checked luggage or purchase them after clearing security. Understanding food rules prevents the common scenario of watching TSA discard your carefully packed snacks while you stand helplessly at the checkpoint. You'll maintain your nutrition plan without violations or waste. Item 3. Snow globes, gel-filled items, and liquid-filled decorative objects. This catches travelers returning from vacations with souvenirs. Snow globes are prohibited in carry-on bags regardless of size because they contain liquid. Gel shoe inserts, ice packs that aren't completely frozen solid, and certain toys with liquid or gel components also fall under this restriction. The confusion happens because these items don't seem like liquids to most people. A snow globe is a decorative object, not a bottle of shampoo. But TSA classifies anything containing liquid as a potential prohibited item, and enforcement is strict. Passengers who purchase snow globes at tourist destinations face confiscation at airport security if they don't pack them in checked luggage. If you buy souvenirs during your trip, ask sellers if items contain liquid or gel. Request that shops ship items home or pack them in checked luggage before heading to the airport. Never assume decorative items are exempt from liquid rules. If an item contains any liquid, gel, or paste, it must comply with carry-on restrictions or be checked. These everyday item restrictions seem unreasonable until you understand they exist for consistent security screening. Following them means you keep your purchases and avoid delays caused by inspection and confiscation. Now we're entering the top 2 items, and these aren't just about losing inexpensive toiletries or snacks. These confiscations cost real money and create serious travel disruptions. Top 2 most confiscated items. Item 2. Prohibited self-defense items including pepper spray, tasers, and certain walking sticks. Pepper spray is completely prohibited in carry-on bags. Small keychain versions marketed as legal for air travel are still confiscated because TSA doesn't allow any form of pepper spray in the cabin. Stun guns and tasers are similarly prohibited. Some walking sticks or canes designed for self-defense with hidden blades or weighted tips may be flagged and potentially confiscated depending on TSA officer assessment. Many senior travelers carry pepper spray for personal safety and forget to remove it before packing for flights. Others pack self-defense keychains without realizing they're classified as weapons. These items trigger immediate confiscation and can result in additional security screening, questioning, and even involvement of law enforcement if TSA determines intent was concerning. Before packing any self-defense item, assume it's prohibited and leave it home. If you absolutely need pepper spray at your destination, purchase it after arrival rather than attempting to bring it through security. For walking assistance, use standard canes without any self-defense features. If your cane has special features, contact TSA in advance through their helpline to determine if it's acceptable. Avoiding prohibited self-defense items prevents the serious scenario of being pulled aside by law enforcement for questioning about why you're attempting to bring weapons through security. The stress and potential missed flights aren't worth the risk. But we've now reached the number 1 item that TSA confiscates more than any other. And it catches senior travelers especially hard because it's something many people use daily and never think twice about packing. Number 1 is the most expensive, most frustrating, and most commonly confiscated item at TSA checkpoints in 2026, and most passengers have no idea until they're watching it disappear into the confiscation bin. Item 1. Oversized or prohibited liquids in checked bags that shift to carry-on at the last minute. Here's what actually happens more than any other confiscation scenario. Passengers pack full-size toiletries, beverages, or other liquids in what they plan to check. Then at the airport, they realize checked bag fees cost $35 or more. They decide to save money by switching to carry-on only, but they forget to remove all the full-size liquids they packed for checked luggage. TSA confiscates these items every single time. The most commonly lost items are full-size shampoo and conditioner bottles, large tubes of toothpaste, full-size bottles of liquid foundation or skincare products, bottles of wine or alcohol purchased before the airport, and large containers of contact lens solution or mouthwash. One passenger lost over $150 worth of premium skincare products because she switched from check to carry-on at the last minute and forgot her toiletries didn't comply with carry-on liquid rules. Another lost 3 bottles of wine worth $75 that he'd packed for checked luggage, but ended up trying to carry on when he decided his single bag would fit overhead. This is the number 1 confiscation because it's completely preventable with proper planning. Here's exactly how to avoid it. When packing at home, decide definitively whether you're checking bags or carrying on. If you're checking bags, pack whatever liquids you want. If you're carrying on, pack only TSA compliant 3.4-ounce containers from the start. Never pack full-size liquids in a bag you might potentially switch to carry-on. If you change your mind at the airport and decide to carry on instead of checking, you have 3 options. First, go through your bag before approaching security and remove all oversized liquids. Most airports have trash bins specifically for this purpose near security entrances. Second, purchase a last-minute checked bag service if available and check your luggage as originally planned. Third, ask if the airline offers complimentary gate check service for oversized carry-ons, which sometimes allows liquids if the bag goes directly to the plane hold. The absolute best approach is committing to your luggage strategy before packing at home. If you're trying to avoid checked bag fees, pack carry-on compliant from the beginning. Transfer toiletries into 3.4-ounce travel bottles. Leave full-size products home or purchase them at your destination. Plan for carry-on restrictions rather than hoping you can avoid them at the last minute. This prevents the crushing disappointment of losing expensive products, the time wasted sorting through bags at security while other passengers wait behind you, and the stress of potentially missing flights because you're delayed at the checkpoint. You'll move through security smoothly, keep everything you packed, and start your trip without frustration or financial loss. These TSA confiscation rules exist for aviation security, and enforcement becomes stricter every year as technology improves and screening procedures evolve. What worked for air travel 5 years ago doesn't necessarily work now, and staying current with regulations prevents expensive losses and travel disruptions. This guide is specifically designed for travelers over 60 who may not fly frequently and might not be aware of how significantly TSA rules have changed in recent years. Understanding current restrictions means you pack correctly from the start and avoid the common mistakes that cost passengers money and time at security checkpoints. Before you go, drop a comment. Which of these TSA restrictions surprised you most? And have you ever had something confiscated at security? Your experience helps other travelers prepare better. And if you're flying soon, watch my next video on the new 2026 carry-on rules, plus the 10 things seniors must do at airport security to avoid delays and extra screening. One simple mistake can trigger extra inspection and add 30 minutes to your wait time. Safe travels, and I'll see you in the next video.